Sunday, the 4th of March, and it's time for my monthly review. And this month we're looking at the month of February. February started off fairly quietly, shall we say, but the theme for the month of clarity, or, well, not only the theme for the month, but the theme for the year, clarity, has been cropping up throughout the month of February. It may only have just been things that people said. It may have been sort of something becoming clearer in the work that I'm doing. There was lots of ways that it manifested itself, but the most was the fact that people kept saying this word clarity. So I think that from a personal perspective, I've hit on the right topic to make my theme for the year. So during the first part of the month, first couple of weeks in fact, everything was fairly quiet. It was relatively humdrum, and that carried on, as I say, until sort of the second weekend. And at that point I had to go and do this film gig that I'd been given. So I drove up to Glastonbury, and it ended up that I was accompanied on that journey by a friend of mine, Delphine. And on the route we talked about lots of things to do with spirituality and to do with the paths that we were following and all that sort of thing. And something that I'll touch on later in this video became very, very apparent. Anyway, we went for coffee, and then we went our separate ways. I went off and found the film crew and ended up spending 2 hours talking to camera. It was amazing. Sadly, some of the shots that they wanted to get, they couldn't because the tour was so slippery. Film crews sliding down the slopes, carrying thousands and thousands of pounds worth of equipment, is not really an ideal scenario. So we just stayed in the one location but chose 4 different shots. And it was really good though. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now the ramifications of that, the follow-ons, have not been so pleasant at the moment, but I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product. So moving on, we have been, as you know, working on this new workbook that is coming together. I had earlier in the month a couple of fairly radical rethinks on the content and the way it was displayed and all that sort of thing. Even redesigned the cover. But suffice to say that there are now only 2 sections to finish, and then I've already had the quote for the printing, which I'm quite happy with. So we'll be going to press very, very shortly. Probably by the end of March I will be placing the order, which was my original target anyway. We can then start marketing. Once I know the order is actually placed, then I will be putting information onto blogs, onto Instagram, etc, 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 and making sure that we give as best a chance as possible of this workbook to become something that people buy. So another thing that I must say I'm very excited by is something that came about through this journey to Glastonbury that I did with Delphine. It's maybe possible for me and the people that I work with on this broadcasting platform to put together a basically, I don't know what to call it, it's a forward-thinking TV channel using the existing platforms that I have, creating a new web base for it, really sort of pushing out into the public domain lots of videos by other people, opening it up to the holistic community and saying, right, here's a platform now. If you want to put out your own inspirational messages by the way of video, give us a shout. We'll send a team in to talk to you about it, and then we can make it happen. So it's a platform that's going to be available to all the therapists, initially in North Devon or Somerset, and then we'll spread it out further afield as and when the need arises. So please bear that in mind. It's going to be called Awakened TV. We already have the domain name. We're in the planning stages at the moment, and as I say, I hope that the therapists in the area will make use of this service that we're offering. So that's all about Awaken TV, and more on that one will be released as and when. You will see at the end of this video there's a trailer for Awaken TV. I went down to Bournemouth, and the reason I went to Bournemouth was for a very, very close friend of mine. His daughter was celebrating her 30th birthday party, and his band were performing there. So as a friend of the family, I was invited down. I went down on the Saturday, came back on the Sunday, had a great night, absolutely fantastic. Got to know various members of the band quite a bit better than I did previously. So I got back on the Sunday night, and then on the Tuesday I went to Liverpool. That was last Tuesday. And of course that was the weekend that everybody was predicting Arctic conditions and so on, and Siberian weather storms, etc, etc. Once we'd hit Bristol, we did run into a fair bit of snow, but it was making driving that you had to be a bit more cautious, but it wasn't making it horrendous at all. We arrived in Liverpool, bedded down for the night, did the business that we had to do on the Wednesday morning. That was a bit fraught, I have to say, but then we set off back, and the journey back was, to say the least, challenging. The weather was not good. It was heavy snow, it was fog, it was a bit abysmal really. But anyway, we came off the motorway, and the last section through Devon was okay. It was fine. It was a bit snowy, but it wasn't really bad. And then, of course, later that night, it became absolutely awful. And didn't know whether we were going to get to work on Thursday. My daughters didn't go to work. They weren't able to get. Thank goodness for 4x4s from my part. So that really brought February to a close. So I hope that that's been of interest to you, and that you've picked up on some of the ideas and the things that we're about going forwards. I'll wish you the very, very best things that life can give. If you want to check out the blog, it's underblueskies.co.uk, and we use the hashtag, which is #UBSkies. We also have a presence on Instagram as UBSkies. We have a Facebook group, which is Under Blue Skies, and then the parent one is the Blue Sky Company. So there's all sorts of ways that you can get in touch. Drop us an email, underblueskies@europe.com. So I'll speak to you again very, very soon with another review of the month of March. Bye-bye now.